April, I'll let them in. You can start.
Okay, how's everybody doing? I hope you all had a great weekend. We got back from Atlanta yesterday. It was cold, but it was a really good, can't even call it a weekend, I guess half of a weekend or so. I don't know. It was a super quick trip, but it's always good to get into different groups and see what's going on. And, we had a good day of training and really meeting a lot of really cool people. So we were excited about that. And it always kind of brings us back to maybe what we're not making clear to you, because I know if other groups have questions, you all may have questions and stuff. So one of the things that whenever I talk, I'm talking about me, when I'm sharing what's going on with my business, maybe it's what's going on with yours. I do a lot of, sponsoring of both customers and consultants these days. I have to get used to that instead of distributors. So that's why that's the hung up. We're consultants now. We're no longer distributors. So getting that right. But, one of the things that I noticed with people is, we always talk about when, we're prospecting people, whether it's to be consultants or it's to be for customers, is the number of times that we have to reach out. And so, we've said as time goes on, people get busier and busier. The reach outs have to be more and more. They're not as few. And one of the things that I noticed this week was I didn't take the no. So by that, I mean, just because somebody said, no, not right now, or, maybe another time, or let me think about it. Instead of just taking the no, what I did is I actually went one step further and just said, no, I can totally get, I got you, or, I get what you're saying and stuff. Can I send you one more video? So, and twice this week that happened because I sent one more video. And I think, again, you're sending videos. We want to keep the videos short. We want to keep them, kind of concise. But you know what, if you send somebody a short video and they don't spend the whole time really looking at it, or they look away, or somebody asks them a question, maybe they miss something that's important and maybe they don't quite get it. And so, I think it's important that even when they kind of back off a little bit, very politely, you can ask, is it okay if I send you one last video? And, that seemed to have worked a lot this week. So I don't always want you to take the first no, because, people, again, it's particularly our Protandim products are really hard to explain to people. And I think we've known that over time. So one video, two videos may not be enough. Maybe that you have to keep sending things. And so, either in your text messages or your notes, we need to have enough stuff to keep dripping on them. So a no doesn't mean a no. A lot of times it's right now, or more importantly, I found, particularly this week, that it meant I don't have enough information. Maybe you haven't gotten me excited enough about the potential results that I'm going to get with the product. And again, that goes back to when we first start to talk to people, why would they be interested in the product? You need to find out, what their problem is, even with the collagen. I mean, we can assume that it's face wrinkles, but it may be joint pain, might be weight loss, might be, skin discoloration. I mean, we've gotten so many different benefits. Hair. I mean, I think I just saw Rebecca come in here somewhere, her picture is up in my stories. I mean, just got amazing results with, the results she got with her hair. But, that we know that collagen is nail, hair, skin. So, sometimes we can't just assume that it's it. So anyway, I just want to make sure that you don't just take the no and you continue to talk to these people, because again, that first video may not be enough. And that seemed to be a theme for me this week. So I definitely wanted to go ahead and share that. The other thing we talked about too is the invite itself. That seemed to be a hang up this weekend on how to invite somebody. And again, one of the things that I found, and a lot of the people that I talk to at this point too aren't necessarily like a good friend or something, but one of the best things you can do if somebody's local is make sure, I don't care if you met them on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, go have coffee with them. I mean, it's the best way to speed up your business is just to take some time. And, I generally only ask a person for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Let's grab a quick cup of coffee. I don't keep them very long because they can only absorb so much, but it's an easier way to speed things up. That trust-like factor is accelerated by doing that as well. So, that we talked about the invite, and people were fumbling around with, like how to get in front of people, how to talk to people. And, if it's a friend, it should be really easy just to get with them and, be able to talk to them and answer some questions and stuff. One of the tips that we did have was, if it's somebody I know, out of the Chicago group in particular, they have a lot of people that have, spas and doctor's offices and, that type of thing is, get the person out of their work environment. When people are in work, their thoughts are always still on their job that they're doing. So, that was one of the big things that they weren't doing. They were trying to do things in the office. And in fact, we had a veterinarian there, and she spoke right up and she said, yeah, I can't talk to anybody in the office. It's just, too busy. So, that was the thought with that. So did you want to add anything in before we go, Bobby, or?
Yeah. It's whenever you get an opportunity to get out of your own backyard, you're going to learn a lot, about the business. And two things are going to happen. You're going to learn how much you do know, and you're going to learn how much you don't know. Okay, both of those things, come into play. And, Atlanta was a nice reminder in that, we kind of had, a lot of it was Jason Kikenzie's team, but Jason wasn't there. Jason helped open up, but his daughter was playing in a state championship basketball game and his wife coaches. So we knew he wasn't going to be there. He was there to introduce us and then he left. Okay. So most of the team was his, and he only moved to Georgia about 4 years ago. And the other folks that were there were older. Okay. And I don't mean chronological age. I mean, they'd been in the business longer. And it was really interesting in reading the room because the newer people, the 4 years and less, man, they had jumped all over the collagen and using it as an introduction to get people interested. And the old ones were still hung up on Protandim NRF2 and wondering what the heck to do with collagen. And you got to remember, it's not an either or. We both products are great, but this is a business where you match your product to the person's circumstances depending on the conversation that you're having at that time. And that's why sometimes it can be very hard to share a script with somebody, because if I'm not in that conversation with you, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I don't know how it started. I don't know, where you've been going with it. So it's really hard for me to say, well, hit them up with Nerf 2 or hit them up with collagen or hit them up with Axio, because I don't know what you were talking about. So you have to go in very open-minded and match the product to the circumstances. And also when it comes to the business, you got to match the business to the circumstances, the opportunity. It's not one size fits all. And we got reminded of that this weekend. It was really interesting. Friday night, we always like to do a leadership dinner. And when we travel, okay? And it's not just the dinner part. I mean, the social and dinner, that's fine. But it's more for me in April to get a feel for what we're dealing with so we know how to train on Saturday. Okay, if we know what the group is going through on Friday night and what their questions were and all that, and again, a lot of you don't do training, but if you ever do and you get into it, you're going to realize there's many levels in which to train. There's a beginner level, there's an intermediate level, there's an advanced level, and you can't just be one size fits all. That doesn't work. You got to match it to the person. And I'm sharing this with you because it reminded me of how important it is to stay new in this business and to stay excited and not get too smart. And I don't care if you're a genius. I see, Dr. Goodman here. Well, he's a freaking doctor. He's smart. Okay. He didn't get to be a doctor without being smart. And a lot of you have high levels of education, but you don't want to intimidate people, and you don't want to feel like, you need to know it all, or you got to be an expert. You got to realize that turns more people off than turn them on. You know what turns people on the most? Non-threatening, likability and non-threatening, and excitement. Those are the three things that turn people on, because you want them to say, wow, that person's excited and having fun. Okay, you check that box. Wow, that person explained it real simply, and I don't feel like I have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out, and that person matched my situation and showed me how to fix something. Maybe I was concerned with car payment, or paying the rent, or putting a kid through college or retirement, whatever it is. And the one thing that we mentioned yesterday, and I want to share this all with you, as we move forward now with our new plan, there's a couple numbers that you got to get very familiar with, okay? Number one, don't ever use our professional trade language with a prospect, okay? I mean, never. Don't ever mention downline. Don't ever mention networking. Don't ever mention upline. Don't use commissionable terms. Don't use, you talk to people in the form of dollars, not commission, okay? You let them know how many dollars can be earned. And we have a tendency, and again, I see Noelle's here. She's a dentist. Dr. Goodman's here. He's a doctor. Have you ever been with an accountant? Have you ever been with a doctor or a lawyer, and they start talking to you in their terms, and you wonder, what the heck are they talking about? Man, I don't have a freaking clue what they just said, because they're using their professional language, and I didn't go to school and learn that language, okay? They did. I didn't do that. And we have to remember not to do that in this business. Network marketing, multi-level marketing, we have our own professional language that we use with each other when we're in the business, but we should never talk to a guest or a prospect like that. And here's a couple things to keep in mind. You got to know the quick conversion of what is earned when something happens, so that you can share how they can take care of a bill or something that they mentioned. Okay, and I'm going to give you one number you can never forget, okay? We get paid on points, point value of a product. We never mention that, okay? We only talk dollars, remember? It's just dollars. So on collagen, okay, that's 112 points. And moving forward, okay, starting March 1st, we can never earn less than 10%. Okay, that's the lowest, which means we can never earn less than $11. I'm going to leave the 20 cents off, okay, $11. So once we get into the personal sales bonus, where we start to build up our pool of customers, well, that 10% can become 15, 20, 30, and if they paid retail, it could be as high as 40%. So and you need to know this with collagen and Protandim, okay? You don't have to know every freaking product, okay? But you got to know those two, because those are our two best sellers. So if I'm talking to Dr. Goodman, okay, and I'm giving him an example, and maybe he's tired of, people weaseling out on their co-payments. Maybe he's tired of whatever it is, giving some, yeah, he's laughing because he knows, okay? It's like you get tired of something, but people always bring up, if I'm talking to a person doing nails or hair, I'm going to make reference to that $50 or $60 procedure, that they do, okay? And if you're trying to show them how they can replace that or match that, use that $11 number or that $5 number that goes with Protandim, and say, if I just sell, 5 of these, okay, say collagens, okay, I can earn up to, well, what is 40%? It could be $44, okay? What's going to be the normal? Between 20 and 30. Okay, so you could say something, I'll earn an average of $30 every time somebody orders the collagen, you know, and if I'm talking to a nail technician, that could be the same as a touch-up on somebody coming in to get a touch-up. Okay, so you got to get familiar with a couple numbers. So when a conversation comes up, you can give a real quick example in 30 seconds on how easily that could be matched or covered, depending on the conversation you have with them. So we talked a lot about that. And then I'm going to lead into this and then give it back to April. The value of the meetings currently going on around the country, if you're not attending, you need to be sending. Okay. Now you should be attending if it's less than 3 hours away. Okay. But if you're not attending, there's about 25 cities. Now it's probably about 18 because 6 of them were yesterday, but there's 18 meetings around the country that you could be plugging people into to see a fantastic presentation by the best, not only the best in the business in our company, but some of the people are the best in the industry. Okay. And have somebody else earn you money, because all you did was get a fanny to sit in a seat. Okay. So don't miss the opportunity. That make sure you're looking at the Big Blue calendar, you know, a couple times a week. It's in your back office. Check it out. And if you got customers in that area, or you suddenly see a meeting pop up and you're from that area, you know, like I'm sorry, I saw the Northern New Jersey one late. You know, we still know a lot of people in New York and New York City, and it would have been a good meeting. And I feel bad because I missed it. Okay. I just, you know, we were doing one ourselves and I didn't pay as much attention to it as I should have. But, you know, whether it's all the California meetings going on, all the Midwest meetings, and this week, folks, you know, it's Chicago. Okay. For us and a lot of folks on here. And I want to share something with you. There's going to be a first that happens in Chicago that has never happened in LifeVantage, at least since we've been here, okay, for 5 years. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to have 2 to 3 times the amount of guests as you do distributors in the room. Now, almost every meeting I've ever attended for any reason has been 95% distributors, and there'd be 1 or 2 guests, okay? For 5 years, it's never been any different than that, okay? And I can tell you, there's going to be about a dozen distributors, give or take. I don't know how many Rachel may have there, okay? But we'll have about a dozen, maybe 15 if you count me and April, and 30 guests right now. And there's still going to be a lot more people invited. If you have never experienced that, you have no idea what you're missing. Okay, if you want to just feel sheer electricity in the air, you put 2 to 3 times the number of guests in a room as there are distributors in a room. And I'm telling you, it's like lighting the freaking fireworks off or lighting the woods on fire. And Chicago, you're not done. You got 30 now, but you got time to get that number up to 50. Okay, by the time Wednesday night comes. Okay, we still got 72 hours. But it's going to be exciting. And the reason I'm sharing that with you, for everybody that is going to be in Chicago right now or have guests coming, be prepared. When that meeting gets cranked and Rachel gets all juiced up because there's so many guests in the room, you're going to be so mad at yourself that you didn't have more guests in the room. Okay, I've been there. We've been doing this 31 years. Okay, and there's nothing worse than feeling like, what in the world did I allow this meeting to happen? And if you're not from that area and you know people in that area, the next 3 days, you want to be working on getting a fanny in a seat, because that is going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. Okay. It's going to be like having 40 or 50 people's hair on fire. You know what I mean? I was telling April, she said, Skylar and Rachel have no idea what they're getting into. I said, well, I ain't been there yet either. So I have a bit of a feeling, but it's when everybody's new and nobody's got any history. Other than Jaya and Dr. Goodman, who I've known for years, okay, Catalina got in the business back in August, and everything's happened since then. So really, nobody's been in the business for more than 4 or 5 months and haven't even been to a big event. Like, New Orleans will be the first big event. So I'm sharing that with you because I saw some pictures this weekend, and I know there was a big one out in Phoenix. Well, Phoenix is always big. Number one, it's really a short puddle jump from Utah for like Steve Fife to get there. So he'll make a cameo appearance, okay? But all the leaders in LiveVantage either live in Southern California, Utah, or Arizona, okay? So it's really easy for them to put 100, 150 people in the room. Well, that wouldn't be a bad place to have a guest sitting there seeing and hearing what's going on. And I'm bringing that up with Chicago because just in the last week, we probably had another dozen people commit to New Orleans because they just joined the business. And some are in Chicago, some are in Hilton Head, some are in other places. But remember, New Orleans is still a month away. There's no limit to how many people we can get there. And we got a lot of people registered now, but a month is still a long time, okay? Especially if people are within an 8 or a 10-hour drive. Now granted, some of the plane tickets may get expensive, buying them inside of a month, okay, away, but a car is a car. And so April, I'll give it back to you. Oh, one other thing I want to say, we already passed, just to show you the excitement that's going on. We've already passed all of last month's enrollments for the month, and we got 10 days left in February. And we're over January's numbers for the whole month already, and we're only at the 19th. So you can feel it. That new Evolve comp plan has just got everybody going crazy with excitement. And remember, everything that we're doing now counts now and counts next month. We have a head start, on everything that's about to happen. So April?
Yeah, so what Bobby's saying is you can double dip, you get 40% this month. And then next month, wherever you are between the 10 and the 40% there. So
you can get it again, right?
Yeah, so important to get to work. Plus, the company's got that other promotion going out where if you have 6 customers, 2 distributors, you get the big swag box and stuff. So a lot of cool stuff that's going on. But, the who do you know can work to your advantage. It's hard if you haven't been to one of these meetings because the comp plan really clicks when it's in person, when it's in front of you. And because the language is different and the enhancement.
How many times did we hear that yesterday, right?
Yeah. And they had Tyler there. So, it doesn't get any better than Tyler Daniels, in front of the room. But so if you feel like you're not getting it quite, you've got questions, definitely let us know, because it takes a little while to get the enhancements and how this is different. And so, every week I want to bring up just another little piece, but the who do you know can work to your favor. Just ask who do you know, and they'll say why. And now I can have a business conversation. So it's like third partying people. It's just a conversation. So who do you know? Or I thought you said you had a brother in wherever, it doesn't matter. There's still quite a few meetings going on for the rest of the month. So you want to go look at that list. And even if there's somebody I wanted in the business, regardless of whether I knew if they had somebody in a certain town, I'd say, who do you know in, Chicago or whatever the meetings are going on. There's another one down south that's going on in West Palm. Who do you know in West Palm? And they'd probably say maybe no. Why? Now I get to have a business conversation. It's all about conversations in this business. If you're not having enough conversations, you're not allowing things to happen. So, I would pick up the phone to anybody I'd ever wanted in the business at this point. And there are 2 cases, and actually, Catalina is a really good one. If you ever speak to Jay or, Dr. Castori, she will tell you how long she worked to get Catalina in the business. So, Jay is a lot like me. We're kind of, Jay is worse than me, but, we're kind of pit bulls. We never let anybody off the hook. We keep circling around. And I truly believe it's because, our industry has evolved so much in the last 30 years that back when Bobby and I got involved, you spent at least 5,000, probably 25,000, 40,000 to get in business. And you had these huge qualifiers every month and you had to pay for everything. And, you know, it was totally different. And so a lot of people who maybe their last introduction to our industry was when they had to do something. I still come across a lot of people like that. They're just like, you know, they just think that we have to have a lot of money to start businesses these days. And that absolutely isn't true. So if you don't share enough of a picture, and it's not you, the world is moving fast. So again, these touches again and again, continually sharing with people so that they can get the picture of what's going on is so important. So the thing that's going to be really different with our comp plan for us, now we've been taught for the last 5 years, we have a holding tank and we all want to move that holding tank. Well, the customer part of that holding tank is going away. So we will not be moving any customers down to that third level for 9% because that's not how our comp plan works anymore. Our first level is 10%. That's our largest level. And if you look at most people's, when they're building their business and recruiting, they go wide. They have people up top. So you don't want to move distributors. You do have the ability to move distributors, but you don't want to move them unless it's like a brother and a sister or some relatives that got involved or, you know, anything like that. Because what happens is that first level is not only where you get the 10%, but there's some mentor bonuses as you get, again, you've heard us say, you know, the Pro 4, the Pro 5, those mentor bonuses kick in, you know, at some of the levels, not too further up from that, it's 20%. You're now getting 30% on that first level. That's big money. That should be motivation for you to just be able to sit down and make some extra calls. The one thing about anybody that's ever been successful in life is they always do one more. They always do one more. I mean, it's just, you know, whether it's working out in the gym or running miles or whatever they're doing, one more. So challenge yourself each day to make another call. This next week, the next 10 days, I'd be calling everybody and just saying, who do you know? Regardless of if they knew anybody in that town, but they might surprise you. Maybe an old college roommate or somebody, and all of a sudden it's a great conversation. But if you don't ask, you'll never know. And so I think that's a perfect lead in to, you know, who do you know in whatever town that you think is convenient, because going to those meetings is powerful. You have people, even if they go around the room and talk to people, like Atlanta was a fairly new market, but we've been in a lot of the markets where people are around 10, 12, 13 years. Well, they're not around 10, 12, 13 years because this is a bad company. Obviously, something's going on. They're making money. They love the products. They're happy that they've stayed around this long. I mean, something good is going on. So any meeting you send people to is a really good meeting because people are excited. They're excited about the way that they're going to get paid now. And, you know, we had a term in our old company called Siamese weasels, and some of you might remember. We just don't see that anymore, you know, where people are kind of like negative and, you know, just they're in their own little corner together and linking arms. And some of you remember that term. I can see Liddy kind of smiling there. She remembers that term well. But, you know, they were the kind of the complainers. And I have to tell you, as we go around to all these meetings, I don't see that. I see a lot of happy people.
Or they're ones, not groups. It's just an individual.
Yeah. So, you know, they truly are happy. They're excited. And all the groups are intermingled. So when you come in the room, I mean, we're giving Jason most of the credit, but I know 4 or 5 other groups that were offsets, but he's been so gracious over the 4 or 5 years that he's been in Atlanta. I know one lady in particular, she came up and she said, thank you so much for keep inviting me to these. It's like whether corporate was in or not, he continually invited people because he knows the value. The more people in the room, the better the meeting, because it's our nature to come in the room. And if we see a lot of people, we think something great is going on, when really, if we come in the room and there's only a few people, we should think, well, maybe that's a better opportunity. But, you know, that's just human nature. So again, keep all out plans for New Orleans. If at all you can make it, I promise it, anytime we do an in-person meeting, regardless of who's in front of the room, it's so well worth your time, because that's where you get that feedback, that learning is just accelerated because you're seeing it in front of you as opposed to trying to learn it on a Zoom. It's so much harder. So appreciate the Zoom if you're still fuzzy with the comp plan and stuff. And the company's done a million different Zooms and stuff right now. It gets so accelerated when you're in person. But think about if you're fuzzy with the company, what about the person that's trying to learn about Protandim or why our collagen is different? You see the importance of asking a lot of questions and giving that information again and again till they can get an idea what's going on. So a no is not a no. That's my big tip for the day. But definitely continue to make those calls out there. Who do you know should be it's an easy thing. I mean, do it all week long and you'll get some great results from it. It'll allow you to have some conversations with people for sure.
When you go with the who do you know, something else happens with that person and you may not have intended for it, but it will. Not only does it allow you to get into a conversation, but in the back of their mind, while you're asking them who they know, they're wondering why you didn't ask them. And you indirectly, you are asking them, okay? But it goes through their mind like, well, if this is good enough for so-and-so, why wouldn't they think of me? And you get that going through their mind. And there's such an advantage when somebody thinks, why not me? Or why did they skip me or whatever? And that's when you end up finding people inviting themselves to a meeting. Like, hey, I could do that too, or can I do that too? That's when that happens, okay? When you are getting into a conversation, if I'm talking to Liddy about who she knows or what pastor or what church or whatever, if I don't ask her or include her, she's going to be wondering, well, why not me too? Like if I know that person, I could do it too. They're asking me about that person. So keep that in mind. It's a good backdoor approach to get the one you want, which is the one you called, but it's also a way to get, and just imagine if that person gives you somebody to talk to or gives you someone to invite, and that person is interested in buying the product or joining the business, don't you have a natural way to just go back to the person who referred you that person and get them in it first? So it's a great way to do it. But I want to share one more thing and then open up for questions. Going back to the collagen and a minimum of 10%, okay, one of the things that we didn't really have an opportunity to do with the pre-existing compensation plan that we do now, it's much easier now to get somebody earning more money faster. Okay, now the big money, and I mean the bigger money, the elite position kind of money, that is still going to come from building a team. Okay, and nothing's going to change with that. The money is in building a team. If you want to make $250,000, if you want to make $500,000, you're going to need to build a team. But if somebody's looking to add $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month to their income quick, that personal sales bonus from enrolling customers can do that very quick. Okay, if you become a diamond, that means you have 36 customers in your customer basket each month, and you're at 4,000 points. You're getting 30% minimum, because if some of them were retail customers, it could be more, but you're earning $1,200. But more important than that, you can look at how many customers it takes to get to $500, how many customers it takes to get to $700, how many it takes to get to $1,200. And I'm telling you, you get somebody earning $500, $600, $700, $800 in their first 90 days. You got them for years. Okay, they're not going nowhere because you proved it worked. And even though that may not be a massive, hey, that could be a lot of money, it could not be a lot of money. It just depends on who the person is. But you have proved that your system works, okay? Because they started making money right away. And it could be a few $100s that first month. It could be a few hundred more that second month. You have to remember, we are always getting paid big dollars on our customers now every month. The days of just earning a couple dollars on a subscription order going out, that ship sailed, it's over. Okay, that's done. We can't make less than 10 and we could make as much as 40. Okay, so just to put that in perspective, Collagen in the past at 2% was $2.24. Now we can't make less than $11.20. All right, we can't make less than that. So it's 5 times more, okay? On Protandim, if we were getting 2% on it, it's 84 cents. I mean, it wasn't even $1. Okay, I mean, think about that. If you were getting 2%, if you had no downline and they were on your front line and you were getting 2%, it was 2 times 42 is 84, and that's not $84, that was 84 cents. Okay, now, okay, it's $4.20. And that's, you know, again, that's on one individual bottle. So the way that people can make money is 5, 6, 10 times faster now than it was before. And what happens when people have a few wins early in their enrollment in getting started in the business, it really doesn't matter how much that money is. It proved to them the system worked. They liked the product, they joined the business, they told somebody about it, and they got paid. And once that they got paid part happens, their belief goes through the roof. And we have never experienced that in our 5 years here at LifeVantage, and I cannot wait for that to happen. I mean, April's got people converting from customer to consultant, or I have to use that, I have to get used to that word. That's good. 31 years I use distributor. It's going to take a little while for me to get used to consultant, but she's got people converting within 2 weeks. And remember, it took them a week to get the product. Okay, so that means they're only on the product for a week and they're already converting into consultants. Okay, we never saw that before. Okay, and I'm telling you, this is the time. Okay, if you're ever going to clean the slate, start fresh, you need to be new again. That was the theme of our training yesterday. Mm-hmm. If you're new, you're new. And if you're not, you need to be new again. Okay, and just find that excitement that you had when you first started. Okay, you know, reminds me of Kim. I know she's on here now. You know, she's brand new in the business. She got started a couple months ago, and it's her energy and excitement that get people in the room. She may know everything about the comp plan. She may know nothing about the comp plan. It doesn't matter. People are following her into the room because she's excited. Okay, and then somebody will explain it. And every time Kim sees it, she understands it better than she did the time before. Okay, and that's how the business works, folks. I mean, that's the way to do it. And we're just pumped. Okay, I mean, really, really excited about Chicago, all the other meetings happening this month, and most important, New Orleans. I mean, it's, you know, that's going to change people's lives forever, New Orleans. And because once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Once your vision's been expanded, it can't shrink. You know, that's how it works. So anything else? You want to open it up, April?
Yeah.
So questions, comments, thoughts, unmute yourself and feel free.
I have a question, Bobby.
Sure.
Is the comp plan affected at all in any way by when the auto shipment goes out for your customers? Whether it's the 1st or the 5th, rather?
Oh, no. It is what it is. Now it's the same no matter what date or, you know, nope. What else? You got to have more than that.
That is a good question, though. We did deal with that in the beginning. Remember, we went for the 5th to the 25th. So that is a good question, but no. Yeah,
and it's not like that, so I don't want to get into it, but you know, they would look back 7 weeks to see what you had done 7 weeks prior. And it took, I can tell you, it took me a little while to understand that. And that was why it didn't matter whether it was the 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, but I didn't get that in the beginning. But no, as long as your subscription is going out and, you know, you're qualified.
You do want to get all your customers on a subscription, even if it's a 3-month, you know, every 3 months, because they're going to be grandfathered in to get the 20% back on the 200 as opposed to just the 10%.
The $20, not percent,
Yeah.
$20.
I mean, $20 instead of, the $10.
Yeah, that's, and we've mentioned this before, but it deserves saying again, don't ever let anybody cancel a subscription, ever. You let them move it out as far as they want to move it out, but don't let them cancel it because they're canceling their loyalty program and they'll erase all their points and they have to start over again. Where if you just move it out and you're still on subscription and it's going to go out 3 or 4 months from now, they don't lose nothing. They keep their program, their points, everything. So don't ever let them cancel. Just let them move it as far out as they need to.
Can you remind me again what the minimum is for them to be a customer who gets that bonus when they're on auto ship? It's like 100 or 150 per month?
Well, it accumulates and they'll get the bonus as their points accumulate. But in order to get the $20 that they're offering as a discount moving into the new program, they need to be on subscription no later than February 28th, the last day of this month. Okay, but they could just be on ProTandem. It'll just take them 5 times going out before they hit the amount of points to get, to get a savings on it. Okay, where somebody on Collagen or Vitality Stack or the Tri-Synergizer, they're going to hit it every month or two. They're going to get it because the point value is 3 times the amount. So it's just based on points is all it is.
Based on dollars, not points, dollars.
Yeah, we think points, to them
No,
it's dollars, right?
Yeah.
One
Based
thing
on
about the
dollars.
loyalty program, and that was a good catch, they are accumulating their credits based on the dollars they spend. To them, it has nothing to do with points. We're getting paid on points, but they're getting their $10 or $20 based on the dollars that they spend. What else? Anything else? Ira, you good? You'll bring that whiteboard for us, right? So I don't know if Rachel will use it or not, but we want it there for her just in case she wants to use it. Anyone else? Lydia, you got anything? Joanne?
It's sitting in the back of my car. It's sitting in the back of my car, so I won't.
It's already in the car. That's good.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you taking that
Sure,
over.
no problem. Do you have markers, by the way?
I do, and I have a note to throw them in my bag before I leave. So,
Okay.
but if you happen to have any dry erase, you can put them in your bag just in case, but I do have them. So
Okay. I do not. Thanks.
anyone else? Are we good? April, we forget anything? I just want to make sure.
Nope, we went through.
Okay,
it
so
all.
we got, let's see, 2, 9, we got 9 more days to close the month out. So look at your subscriptions, make sure everybody is on a subscription so they have a chance to be an insider, right away with what's going on. And, I know it's a lot, it's funny. I know it's a lot of new terminology. I know it's a lot of change, but I can tell you, we've known for 4 or 5 months and it only cleared up for me recently. So don't feel bad if you're in a fog over it, because not only did every number in our pay plan change, but every title of our rank changed and everything changed. Nothing's called the same thing anymore, and we're not paid the same way. So, the fog cleared for, for me, it'll clear for you. But that's why we use a computer. It will pay us properly. And, so don't worry about it. But if there's one thing you want to be focused on, and I've been really, and April mentioned this tonight, you want to be building up a huge customer base. Okay. That is, when you can be making 30 to 40% on your own customers every month, that is the fastest way to get cash flow coming in. And from that, we are seeing, because of the collagen working so fast and because of how popular that word is, collagen in general, that is a very popular word these days. they are converting quickly. It's an easy introduction and they're converting quickly into consultants. And, you know, it's because we get to show pictures of before and after and don't necessarily need to be a scientist explaining SOD and glutathione and oxidative stress. Okay. Yet that is a natural addition to add on. And that's why we have the Glow Pack. Okay. But that comes with it. So everything has been put together to work really, really nicely. And if you just want to focus on the most productive thing you could do, pile in customers. It is by far the most productive thing you can do. And some of them will convert to consultants, whether you ask them or not. It'll happen anyway. So anyway, if there's no more questions, we'll let you go. Can't wait to see you guys in Chicago. It's been a while since I've been there, so I'm looking forward to going back. It was a home away from home for many years. So looking forward to going back. And for the rest of you, check where the meetings are. If you got one within 2 or 3 hours, don't dare miss it. I mean, it's, you know, my motto's always been, if I'm going, then I might as well have a guest sitting next to me. So it's like, you know, might as well have somebody sitting next to me. So have a great night, everyone. You know how to reach us, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.